Welcome to lesson 25. We're going to work with literal equations. So in this problem here, the things we're going to look for, we're going to see that we can identify which variable is being isolated. In other words, you're going to see actual equations that have multiple variables, and we're going to try to isolate a particular number or one variable. We want it. This one variable is equal to everything else. And we're going to accurately use our inverse operations to isolate that variable, the one that we target. So let's jump in. Here's our first one. It was a Regents question in 2019. The formula for electrical power P is equal to I squared R, where I is the current and R is the resistance. The formula for I in terms of P and R is equal to. So in other words, I want to know I is equal to. That's our goal. I want to set that up. So I'm going to start with my original formula. P equals I squared times R. And I want to isolate the I. So the first thing I want to do is, since it's I times R, I'm going to divide by R. And just like with any equation, we do it to both expressions. So these will cancel out. And now I have P divided by R is equal to I squared. But I want I by itself, so I just don't want it squared. So I'm going to find the square root of I, and whatever I do to one, I have to do to the other. So the square root of P divided by R is equal to I. And that makes sense, right? Because I know that I squared just means I times I. That's all it means. So I'm just finding the square root of that value. All right, let's see if anything matches our answer. And lo and behold, I do see I equals the square root of P and R. See it right here. All right, so hit pause and jot this down into your notes. Let's try another one. Here's another Regents question. We have another formula. The formula for volume of a cone is volume is 1/3 pi r squared h. Solve the equation in terms of h. So we want h equal to and everything else. Okay, so let's start with our original. V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. So first thing I want to deal with, I want to get rid of that coefficient. So I have 1/3. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. And that means I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to multiply both of these by 3. So now I have 3v, and that way these will cancel out, is equal to pi r squared h. All right. I want to get rid of the pi r squared. These are all being multiplied. So I'm going to divide by pi r squared. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Pi r squared. These will cancel on this side, leave me with just h. And on the other side, I now have 3v divided by pi r squared is equal to height. And we are done with this problem. Draw that a little better. There we go. All right, Math Marvels, that's what we did. We rewrote the equation in terms of h. That's all it meant. It meant to isolate the variable h. So I was able to identify what variable is being isolated. And anytime it says solve the equation in terms of or for this, that is how they tell you which one. And then I used my inverse operations to get that variable by itself. I like getting rid of any coefficients first. So in this case, that 1/3 was first. And then I got rid of these two terms over here, this part over here, by just dividing. That's the other part. Now I have seen some people, what if you wanted to divide the first one and then divide the second one separately? It gets really complicated. It looks a little ugly. So I'd rather just do it in one division step than split up into multiple ones. All right, this was a short one. I hope this was helpful. Get some practice in and get feedback from others. And I will see you in the next lesson. Be well.